Okay, it's Hull against Huddersfield this weekend. Let's get the Hull view. First of all, from Tiger Will. How are you, Will?
I'm not too bad yourself.
Good, thank you. So went to West Brom, played very well in the first half. They made some
Yeah.
changes and ended up losing the game 3-1. What was your view of it?
Um. Well, I think we played. I agree with Liam. We played a good portion of that. Like 2/3 of the game were more attacking. Really, it's just two good attacks from them. Kind of did us in really toward the end of the second half. So that was it. We just silly mistakes again. And again, I always say this: a naive defense.
Yeah, it's kind of Rossini's view, wasn't it? At the end, is just individual mistakes are just costing Hull at the moment, aren't they? You're not playing badly in the games. You're not being torn apart. It's just individual errors.
No, true. It's one of the ones where I think he needs to start going back to the back three with the wing backs, and then definitely when Morton or anyone in the middle is injured, play Doherty more because he'll hold it up better for Seri to go forward. I think.
Yeah, so you've reverted, haven't you, in the last two outings to this 4-2-3-1, when you worked against Preston and then lost against West Brom. So as you've got to have this system that allows them to commit bodies forward, haven't you, both centrally and then out wide. But you've still got to be able to maintain that solid block defensively, haven't you? You have shown these abilities to switch periods in games, but does he actually know his best system yet?
I think he does know his best system. I just think it's the players in the right places. So you've got Delap always up front. Usually the one up front or Connolly. If they're both fit, sometimes he plays both up front. I'd rather play one single like Delap up front. Obviously, maybe not so much Twine because he's not really showing much at the moment on what he did at Burnley and before that MK Dons. But I'd probably play Simon Esch on the left instead of Twine. And on the other side, you've got Philogene, but he's injured, so we're going to have to find somebody to replace him at the moment.
Yeah, I mean, what do you make of Huddersfield? Is this? I mean, you should look at this on paper, I'm guessing, and saying this should be 3 points, or are you a little bit more cautious given you've seen Hull? Well, we look at Hull in the table and think this should be a home banker, but you watch them every week. What's your view of this weekend?
Well, like I said, if they get the place rocking like we normally do, it should be a banker. It should be a 3 points in the bag for it easy. But we can have one of them slip ups where it's a potential banana peel if we kind of need to keep our momentum into the top six all the time. So if we don't win it, then we're kind of a little bit off the pace, and then we've got to struggle through Christmas, all the Christmas fixtures, and then to the New Year and all that stuff. And then obviously just today I found out the Sheffield Wednesday game on New Year's Day has been moved back to I think it's 5:15 for Sky. So that's going to be fun.
Yeah. Yeah. What do Hull need in the January transfer window?
I think experience is what we need. We need somebody that can hold up the back a bit more. But even if he just sits on the bench and comes on for like 20 minutes, like a centre back or maybe like a wing back, something like that, and maybe a central defensive midfielder. Strikers we're okay with, I think, because Tufan comes back, he's good. Delap scoring, others are scoring like Philogene. You've got enough to do it, so that's fine. I think we just need the solid up at the back, stop leaking goals, and get like the 1-0s, the 2-0 wins, and then we're okay.
Right, we'll get your predictions in a second. Thank you, Will. We'll just pause you there and
No
we'll
worries.
pass over to the Huddersfield view. Cheers. Okay, this is the Terriers view. Good evening, Mark. How are you?
Good evening. Not too bad, thank you very much. How are you guys?
Very well, thank you. Yeah, so
Great.
you stopped the rot last weekend, 0-0. Does that represent progress?
I think Darren Moore got tactics right. It was quite nice to see. When we started, you could kind of see the lineup, you could see the shape, and actually exactly what we wanted against Leeds. We kind of just sat back a bit. We weren't trying to do all the adventurous stuff. And I think for a neutral, they'd have been like, oh, it's a boring draw. But for a town, I think actually that's kind of where we needed to get back to. Quite when the defenders got interviewed after, like, yeah, we just went back to basics. We just didn't want to concede. And actually, the tactics kind of worked a bit better for town because we let Watford have all the ball. They didn't really do much, backwards and forwards, sideways and sideways. And it worked well for us. And to be fair, we had a good first half and possibly missed a sitter, to win the game 1-0. So I think Darren Moore actually managed the game better, which were nice. And he made substitutes at the right time rather than just saying, right, here's 4, just go in and try and do something. He actually made subs at decent times. But I think they were more injury concerns rather than actual tactical concerns, because we had 2 players go down with cramp. On top of Town's already massive injury list. It's not something we want to see. So we've not actually had any reports yet about how the players are, but we'll find out tomorrow in press conference.
Why is it after every Huddersfield game I continue to see more Darren Moore out posts on Twitter than I do praise? He can't really do much more with the squad than what he's doing, can he? Why is there this hardcore of fans that just hasn't warmed to whatever he's been trying to do at Huddersfield?
Because his press conferences are boring.
Is that it?
They are, seriously. After game, it's like, yeah, we'll try better. We'll do more. Yeah, it's my fault. We need to go back. Like, how can you get behind that? How can you get behind somebody who's like, just, it's boring. It might come across great to players and it's very simple and they get it across, but you do sit there and you kind of like, and again, you don't want to keep going back to Neil Warnock, but when you go from that charismatic, energized person who wants sort of fans behind him and behind the team, to go to somebody who's very just one tone, kind of going through all the interviews before it, after it. There's no kind of passion, or not passion, but enthusiasm behind it, and you kind of like, But all I can do is judge Darren Moore on what he's doing, and we had 2 walloping defeats, and was just like, you got to change it, and he's gone back and done what we needed to do. And I think there's some keyboard warriors out there who are just still kind of pro everything else rather than pro Darren, and trying to see what he's going to bring. Ultimately, if it goes wrong, there's only one person going to lose the job, and it's up to him to try and make sure that doesn't happen by galvanising the players, galvanising the team, getting the fans back on side and stuff. And that's ultimately what it's going to be, really.
The last time, Mark, you got on an away coach, you were walking out of Ellen Road at half time. What needs to change or be kept from the Watford game going up to Hull, because they are a very neat, tidy side who will pass your death out of you.
Well, you do what we did against Watford, what we didn't do against Leeds. Hull like the ball. They like to keep hold of the ball. They like the percentage. Now, I'm hoping that Town take 2,500 people and get right behind the team. It's down M62, 45 minutes away. It shouldn't be a hard away game for Town fans to get to. I'm hoping we go and we back Darren and we back the players. But ultimately, don't do stupid stuff against Leeds. You've known what you need to do, and you've rectified it against Watford to an extent. Hull are going to keep the ball. They average around 65% possession in their games. Last couple of games they've won, and then for some reason we had 65% possession against West Brom and lose. It's a really, really difficult game, and Town had that chance against Watford, and if it goes in, you win 1-0. So it's kind of let Hull keep the ball, do what we did really well against Watford, and a point away at Hull will be a really good result for us going into transfer window, into international break, because then we get players coming back through that time. So after international break, we should have a few more injuries returning, which would be good.
Right. Let's get your predictions then. Let's bring back in our Hull fan. Let's get some predictions then. Hull against Huddersfield. Will, what are you heading for this week?
I'm going to go for it's going to be a 2-1 win to us. Going to be cagey, but 2-1 win to us.
Okay. And what about the Terriers, Mark?
I think I'm going for an optimistic 1-1. I think Hull do like the ball, but I think they can be susceptible. And if Sorba Thomas is on form like he did this weekend, and we can get a few good balls into the box and one of them goes in, it should be a good away day. So I'm going for a 1-1 draw.
Yeah, it's not that far, is it? Was it a 40-minute drive, is it? From
40 minutes. Literally, I come out of my house, turn left, I'm on M62, Hull in 45 minutes. And I'm taking my son to his first ever away game, so that should be exciting.
Oh.
Right, Will, don't mess it up for him.
Yeah.
Sorry. No promises. But it'll be a good atmosphere regardless. It's a nice one to come to.
Yeah, it is. I've been before. It's a beautiful stadium, really nice. No animosity between fans. It should just be a good Yorkshire derby and
Definitely.
leave it on pitch and have a beer after. Get yourself
Exactly.
Good. Get your woolies on. Hull in November. It's not a warm place. My memory.
Yeah, just a little bit.
Right. Enjoy the game, folks. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks, boys.
Cheers,
Cheers. Take care.